there's Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder here with this week's episode of the Tuesday Brewsday. Last week we showcased some of the decks that I've been working on, and this week I'm just going to play some of my greatest hits here for current standard, the ones that I'm having the most fun with, the ones that I think I've tweaked the best as far as attacking the meta with a deck that isn't tier. So I think we're going to play some Champions Auras and play some Winota Elves. So I've done some updates to both of those decks that I haven't showcased on the video. Maybe we'll play some In a Bind as well. Just play a few decks of each and see how well they perform. Now the meta is still very hostile as far as brewing is concerned, because usually if you build a deck that beats one of the big three, it's going to lose the other two. So we're in this kind of rock, paper, scissors mess right now with the Yorion, mono white, and mono red, at least in the best of ones. And the best of two is in that same sort of rock, paper, scissors mess with the adventures. So you have Naya Adventures, you have Yorion, and you have mono red. So no matter how you want to shake it in either best of one or best of two, or best of two, best of three, you're going to be going against this really hard nut to crack, which is the rock, paper, scissors format, which is standard. Alrighty, so I have this tool with the MTG Arena Assistant, which I do find pretty good as far as a app you can use to showcase your win-loss ratings. So you can come over here to statistics. On here, we can get a bra ad showing up. Need to actually get rid of these stupid ads here, but that's a good one. We can't complain about that. We have the... this is a tempo at a 7-3. I'd have to definitely play more matches to make it actually relevant. This is one that I created literally to do the dailies if I ever have like a cast X red spells or blue spells. This is one that actually can hook through it pretty quickly. So the matchup for against like these ramp decks are pretty good. Pretty against like mono red. Pretty good against, I believe this is going to be Yorion here. It's 3-1 versus Yorion. Pretty decent versus the lineup. You see I haven't actually played against mono white. Yes, I have right there. That's probably mono white with Luris triggering the white black. Let's go back to a few of the other ones we have here. With In a Bind, actually a 66 point win percentage, but of course a 5-2 is not going to be enough. Winota Adventures is just my take on a adventures deck that just chucks in Winota. This one's actually kind of cool with the deck list here because it is just running the Cragcrown Spirit to try to create enough. Man, it's really this advertisement. Gosh, I think we're going to have to bring it down here. Here we can get this out of there with this stupid ad. But anyway, the Winota Adventures is going to have the Cragcrown Spirit to pump out a bunch of white spirit creature tokens with flying, and then we can hit Winota. What I was trying with this particular brew is Winota makes as a one of or two of, just allows you to hit some pretty cool stuff just off of like triggers, attacking triggers, and just hitting another adventurer is pretty decent with the. This isn't even showing. Why isn't the adventure in this? We have Edgewalling Keeper. So we have the Edgewalling Keeper. If you just hit an Edgewalling Keeper or like a Giant Killer off of a Winota trigger, I don't even think that feels that bad. So that's where I'm thinking this is fine. Just chucking like Winota in decks like these. This is kind of a strategy. I was trying this with a few other decks. Like I've tried it with mono white, just chucking Winota in. It doesn't screw your mana base up too much unless you're going the snow cover. Then maybe you don't want to go that particular route. But just being able to hit like 3-1 indestructible creatures off of Winota, it's a powerful card. So that's kind of my idea with it. Alrighty, so let's go back to some of the other collection cards decks that I've been playing a lot. You can see my Champions R deck is a 57 win percentage. That's how I got to Diamond, is really grinding with this one. This has dipped in the last few days. I've had this above 60% for a bit. Went on a 12-0 run with Champion Auras at one point. Does very well against Rogues, does very well against mono white, mono red. Winota Elves is the other deck I've been playing a lot here with another one with over 40 matches with a 52% win percentage. And some of the other decks haven't been performing too hotly with like my graveyard deck that I like and my mono green. So let's go ahead and play some Winota decks here. We'll start off with Winota and see how it actually works. We've got a couple of changes here to the Winota. We have the Moritte of the Frost, which is a human, which is kind of cool. So this is my latest addition to the deck. This can be hit and actually copy either a Winota that's on the field, and you just get rid of that Winota, and then this one becomes the new Winota, which is a 6/6 attacking, which isn't terrible. Enough of the time that is going to be lethal. You only really want to do this if you've missed on your other triggers and haven't any Kargan War Leaders, and it's like between copying something weak and copying like a Winota. It does give you another option, though. Then we are running like a Masked Vandal in the main. It's just another changeling that you can hit off Winota. It's also something that can trigger the Elvish War Master, because the real focal point of this deck is going to be the Elvish War Master. The other card that is an addition is going to be the Magda Brazen Outlaw. I actually want to build a deck with this particular combo. The cool thing about this is it survives rotation. So you have this neat little combo with the Jespera Sentinel and the Magda Brazen Outlaw, and you still do have this shell. Like, after rotation, this shell's still here. The Masked Vandal, Elvish War Master, Magda, Jespera Sentinel, Realmwalker. And I think it's going to be a pretty decent shell post-rotation to create a bunch of, like kind of a changeling S-type strategy, with Magda being able to give the changelings +1/+0 and being able to trigger Elvish War Masters. I think that's a pretty solid strategy. It's what I like about my Winota versus some of the other Winota decks is you don't really have to have a Winota. This deck can be very, very potent just with the Elvish War Master pumping out some tokens and hitting like a Kargan War Leader. So we also have another Lord with the form of Maja, the Bredegard Protector. So Winota, this is what's kind of cool about the Winota right now in the meta. It's not like terribly unfair. You're not hitting Agent of Treacheries. It's a lot easier to shut down than the old school ones. So really fun card to play right now. Really combo, but at the same time, there's very aggressive draws you can have with it where you don't even need Winota, and you can just win with the right compilation of cards. So let's go ahead and try the sucker out. It still has the best cards as far as humans are concerned with Kenrith, Tazri. Tazri's also super good with this. Tazri doesn't rotate either, and this might be some little synergy with it. Too bad that Magda ended up being a Dwarf Berserker. Really wish this would have been a Dwarf Warrior. It would have synergized a lot more in this particular deck, but it's still, pretty great in this deck with the Jespera Sentinel being able to tap it to be able to create a treasure token. This has actually happened one time before. You can sacrifice 5 treasures to search your library for an artifact or dragon card. So you can actually go get a dragon card, which is a changeling. So you can go get a Moriette or the Frost. And that actually did happen one game with having like a pretty potent changeling draw. So Jespera Sentinel with the Magda. And so you create a treasure, and then the following turn you have like a Realmwalker or a Masked Vandal that then you can also attack in with or tap. And I actually did end up creating 5 treasure tokens and just sacrifice them and search them for a Moriette the Frost and copied the Kargan War Leader. Another scenario that can happen is with like the Winota will find some changelings, like a bad Winota draw. You attack in and you hit only Realmwalkers and like Masked Vandals, and then it does, if Magda out, it does create those treasure tokens, and then you actually have something to do with it. I actually was able to do that on a Winota swing, so create enough changelings or create enough treasure tokens with changelings attacking in, and then was able to tutor up the Moriette of the Frost, which then could copy a Kargan War Leader, and actually was able to swing in for lethal with that little interaction. So there you have it. Kind of a cool little update to the deck list to Winota. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Should get these white and red spells too, so our daily will be achieved today. So that's really what I play Arena right now, is just doing the dailies. Don't have enough time to grind a Mythic. We were pretty close with Diamond 4. I've been like jumping around Diamond 4, 3, and 4. Was up to Diamond 2 at one point, then got bored and started building some pretty wacky rogue decks that got farmed pretty bad. This is an iffy hand. It's kind of okay-ish. The problem is we have our red source. I think it's actually fine, though. We're going to go to Luris. We have a little more time if it's rogues. So we have like the tracker into Elvish War Master, which could get the job done. Unfortunately, we do have to use our red source on a green. But we do have the white source for the Kargan War Leader. Like, this is a weird draw. You never want to see Kargan War Leaders in your hand, but it does have synergy with these cards we have. So we draw a red source. We have like War Master into Realmwalker into a War Leader, and that might be enough to get us there. Rogues doesn't have the most ideal draw. We actually do find the red source. We'll go ahead and throw the red source down, do a War Master, attacking for 2, and we're actually sitting pretty here. Especially if our opponent has to bring out like a Hedron Crab this turn, Hedron Crab Mill, we should be pretty good with the Realmwalker spitting out a token, and we have the Kargan War Leader. So a nice little curve. These hands used to be pretty good in metas, but this meta's become so aggressive, like with these cards just being soaked, the power level just insanity, that it's funny that these like draws aren't even good enough. So still think that's the right play rather than going a War Leader. We'll just go White Source, Realm Walker. Realm Walker spits out a token. We're going to name Warrior. It's the best one to name in this deck. Spits out a token. We have a Frost coming up. And the Wildwood Tracker we can attack in just fine. If our opponent wants to make a trade with the Thieves, no, they're not going to. I guess we could have attacked it with Elvish War Master too, and I doubt my opponent would have made a trade. So this Moritte of the Frost is going to get milled, which is good. The following turn we can either go, best case scenario is we find a green source, and then we can, or any source at that point, any mana source at that point except for a base camp. We can throw the Wildwood Tracker out and go Kargan War Leader. This is a good alternate though. I think that red is a little bit better to create here. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to go another War Master. Most likely will get countered, I would assume. But it's still a card off the top. It's not. Oh, that does not get countered. We're in pretty good shape, actually. So the problem is, like, we really can't attack in with much here. The tracker dies to a flashed in. What are we at? 4, 5, 6? Maybe it doesn't. It died to the 1, 3. So we can attack in here. I don't want to attack with anything else. But we really need to hit a land and then yeah, we were thinking of a Soaring Thought Thief coming down, but it's not going to be enough to mill. Ah, Winota number 2 gets milled. So opponent's going to make that trade. Okay, we'll trade with a Merfolk Wind Robber. That's fine. That is fine. I'm actually okay with that. That's a blocker out of the way. It's probably more... I mean, our opponent can get it back with like a Lurrus, possibly one in, but that's a card draw. I think that's a pretty terrible block by my opponent. Not going to attack him with anything, huh? So this wants to probably be on white. I'm not sure. So unfortunately, the Moritte didn't get milled, so we had to draw it. So we're going to put this on green, and then we'll do another tracker. Hopefully this gets countered. And then we can get the War Leader. Does not get countered. That's a sucks, because we're still staring down, like, can't attack into the Thief Guild's Enforcer unless this comes out, and this is still a liability. So we'll cast it. This one should get countered. Unfortunately, a 3-2 Death Toucher and a 1-3 is going to be enough to deter me from attacking with anything. Yeah, Drown Lock does happen. Unfortunately, we have a mana coming up, too. Don't want to attack in here, don't want to attack in here. There could be a double block with a Thief's Guild Enforcer. Yeah, it just sucks how, like, a 1 and a 2 drop can just clog the board so much. Here comes another Soaring Thought Thief. At least this does get milled, and we do have to draw that land unless our opponent does attack in. So what we need to do is slam a Winota. Unfortunately, like, 2 Winotas are milled. All of our War Leaders are going to be, yeah, this is going to be tough to come back from. We don't have blue sources for the Moritte of the Frost. This one's a hard one to just hard cast. But it is what it is. This does give us our opening, though, for Into the Story. My opponent's being kind of ballsy here and just chucking it out. Let's see if my opponent goes for a... Does not. We can actually cast Tazri. I'm going to put this on a black. Tazri costs 2. So I think we still want to get things off the top. This is like my opening to attack in, though. I'm wondering if it's just better to attack in. Because now we're going to have, like, really, really rough. Because, yeah, these become all 2/2s. And then Tazri. And then... But Tazri off the top seems pretty legit. Yeah, really, really rough decision. Because then we can't attack in with anything. I think we just slam this guy down. Unfortunately, I think that's the best move. And then just get in there. You know, this is our opening to do damage. It's also our opening to kill some things. Like, the War Master's done its job. Yeah, it's really done its job here. Gonna kill the Realm Walker, too, with the Thief's Guild Enforcer. Okay, I mean, it gets rid of a bunch of rogues. Unfortunately, the opponent's hand is just full of stuff. Goes down to a 3. They need to kill that Kargan War Leader. We have a Tazri coming up that now costs a lot. Because it killed all the changelings there. But it is what it is. I think that is fine. Our opponent scoops it up, so it ended up being the right play. My opponent got super greedy with that Into the Story. I you definitely don't want to be running out into the story. Like, I see rogue players doing that all of the time. Burn your hand. Make sure if you have stuff you can hold up, hold it up. I mean, what else could be in rogue's hand? Like, I can think of many cards. I mean, there is still, what, 2 cards in hand. They draw another card. After that, burn your hand, then into the story. Unless they really want to hit that land drop. Possibly there was just lands in hand and they needed to burn into the story. But either way, our early aggression actually was able to get through with rogues. And that's typically how rogues games go if you do win, is they do tap out for something and then you have that opening to be able to get in there for. So go ahead and play a couple more with Winota Elves. Hopefully we can see like a mono white and a mono red. It's funny because mono white used to be an incredibly good matchup, but the way they're building mono white now and the way that best of ones just is crazy with the curve, man, the way that the algorithm with MT Arena works is they love curves, giving 1s, 2s, 3s, and perfect lands and then this is what's kind of sucks with like my decks that don't really have curves, is they love to give me these hands of the 2 landers, and the 2 landers are very risky. But another Lurrus, this is a decent hand versus Lurrus. We have a Sentinel, and a Sentinel into a Paragon is pretty decent. If we find like another 1-drop, that's also pretty good. Really, any card here is a decent draw except for something we want to hit off like a Winota. And opponent just has a... Oh, that's perfect. That's even better. So, yep, we will... White is still... Red is better here because of Rada. So we have the Elvish Warmaster. And I can attack in. Yeah, I can attack in here with the Jasper Sentinel because Death Touch does not happen until... Yeah, okay, it doesn't even have one because it didn't give my opponent the opportunity. So, Double Swamp might be going against Auras. Uh-oh, that sucks. I don't think we're going to do very good against Auras, especially the Hateful Eidolon. Like, this deck is so Hateful Eidolon dependent. If they don't have it, they lose. So, that's a decent little draw here. So, we can just go... Yeah, man, I think we're in a world of hurt here, though, unfortunately. I think we'll put it on black, just in case we draw a Tazri or something. We have a Realm Walker coming up. Hopefully these two can actually get in a lot of value, because my opponent's just going to be just slurping up the value here with the double Hateful Eidolons. Yeah, there's no way. The good news is this deck is god-awful in the meta right now. Like, it's super weak versus like a mono red deck. Just have life. Okay, that's my opponent's just blocking that way. So now I have a Realm Walker. Still can't get down though. We'll go Warrior. And then we're just going to die from these. These Hateful Eidolons are just going to give too much value. And I think we're dead to the Auras. Gave my opponent a nice hand, too, with the Hateful Eidolons. Yep, the Lurrus coming back to get those dead weights. So probably a dead weight on this Jaspera Sentinel. Forces the land on the top. We can just put out another Realm Walker. Guess we could have gone double Tajuru Paragon. Put this also on Warrior. And then we can attack him with this Realm Walker. It doesn't really do much, but is what it is. Doubt there's any sort of flash in. And then unfortunately Lurrus is going to come down and just rip our hand to pieces. So only hope we have... Yeah, we're just getting ripped apart by Lurrus. Like, I'm just going to scoop it up here. There's no way. There's zero chance for coming back from it. Lurrus is just going to deadweight it or Myers Grasp everything. And there's zero chance, even with Winota. Very tough matchup. That's basically unwinnable. That's going to be one of the very tough decks, is that Lurrus Auras. But again, it's a extremely, and when I say extremely dead, awful deck versus Yorion. Can't beat it. Yorion is still a massive part of the meta, and so you won't run into that Aura deck very often. It's also like it's pretty misleading too. You think it's a good matchup versus mono white and against like mono red, but the problem that could happen is they don't have that Hateful Eidolon draw. They are just seem to be like a turn behind. That's kind of the like, I keep trying to build these anti-decks for mono red and mono white with like tons of removal, and I'm like, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to beat me. And then I just lose to the like, mono white just has draws that are just so much better than what other decks can do. And so even if you go tit for tat with removal and think you're going to out card draw them, you end up being just so far behind. So we have a couple of options here. I think the better option is just Wildwood Tracker and starting in there for more damage. I think that is the right play. So, because the Jaspera Sentinel really can't do much this next turn, so might as well get first. Oh, now I want just Spirit Sentinel. Oh, why? Why did it give me a Magda? So I can at least still Magda here and get in for 2. Unfortunately now, this is kind of weird. Maybe I should have gone just Spirit Sentinel and then tapped it. Okay, it almost seemed my opponent's just gonna like bust it out, like not even. That's cool to sorcery speed that. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, we're hitting all the draws we want to hit off of. Well, actually, do you know what? We might go Rada here. I think we're gonna go Rada. Try to heal land off the top. Land off the top, Rada. You can do it, bro. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We are drawing another land the next turn. We don't have to be... Yeah, I got the value, so I'm okay with my opponent killing Rada. We have Maja. No, we need double white for Maja, but we do have Tazri that can come out next turn with a Jaspiris Sentinel. We actually do have Maja that can come out next turn with a Magda. So maybe that is the correct play. So we go green here. Now, I still like Tazri better. We are looking at like an extinction event next turn, so Tazri is just so much better with against the shadows. We'll go green, and then go ahead and attack in. Opponent is cultivating pretty good, so Sentinel, and this just gives us a Tazri. And now, like, Shadows doesn't kill the Tazri Beacon of Unity. Extinction event on evens is pretty decent. We still have a Magda or Magda back, which is okay because then we can have some. We can cast Maja. Heartless Act on Rada. Really, on Rada? Seems pretty bad. Why not on the Tazri? Okay, Heartless Act on the Tazri as well. So, I think we just go like this. And that should be lethal? Okay, that does it. I mean, Yorion is a pretty easy matchup with Winota. They tap out a lot of times. It's really good versus Winota. It's one of our better matchups. All right, let's go ahead and play this one. Maybe one more time. We want to see a Winota. We haven't seen a Winota trigger yet. Of course not. Of course it's not going to give us Winotas with Winotas. Maybe we need to restart the good old server just died on us here. Yeah, we haven't seen the Winota trigger happen yet, and that's exactly why we were playing this deck. So hopefully we can actually get it to happen. It is what puts us over the top. What I was talking about with mono white. What I found a better strategy versus like mono white and mono red is not trying to tit for tat them, not trying to play removal, but go over the top of them. And so both this Champions R deck and Winota can actually score up pretty good against the mono reds and mono whites because our god draws can be as good as their god draws. The thing that I'm starting to find though with Winota is the mono red and mono white are so much more consistent at getting those crazy draws than the Winota. This is a pretty decent hand again. Haktos actually can come out with this hand. Haktos can actually wreak havoc on, oh, this is going to be beautiful if it is like just a snow-covered mono green, because if our opponent doesn't have removal here and they just tried to put out some big beefy guys, we could actually outproduce them. We outvalue them. This is really what this mono green deck's trying to do against mono white and mono red too. It's trying to just put out bigger things than what their opponents are doing. So this on green is still fine. I don't think I need to black this game. We'll go with Elvish Warmaster, and the Elvish Warmaster can now get out of Wildwood Tracker, and we are in great shape to threaten a Winota. But like I said, our deck does not want to give us Winotas. Our opponent does think we're on Elves, though. So we're probably going to kill the Elvish Warmaster. Oh, just sort of Lovestruck Beast. That's fine. You want to trade with the Scavenging Ooze? Like, if our opponent attacks in the Scavenging Ooze, I actually wouldn't do anything about it. Let's go ahead and put this on white or red. White's actually... They're pretty much 6s. We'll put this on white. And then we'll go Realm Walker here. And then we are going to name Warrior. And there's a Warrior on top. So we'll tap Elvish War Master. And there's a land on top. So far, so good. Can't complain here. No, we don't have to worry about like a Embercleave with this version. They can do some pretty crazy stuff with like buffing up something. Like Great Henge is going to be, I mean, any other deck would be difficult to race a Great Henge, but we're actually producing as much value as our opponent is. So I'm not even going to chump block here. We'll just take the damage. Opponent has 3 cards left in hand. Doesn't look like they have anything for the mana. Blizzard Brawl on the Realm Walker. That hurts, actually. So Blizzard Brawl is indestructible. Now my opponent will attack in. And you're going to exile that with the Scavenging Ooze. Okay, nope, they're just going to have the God Draw. Alrighty, well, we will take some damage here. So what we need out ASAP is going to be a Winota. So I actually think I'm going to put this on red, and we need to find Winota rather than Haktos here. And we will tap a token, because I do want to get in for some damage here. And does it find us Winota? It indeed does. So this is going to be our lifeline. I think I attack in here and here. I don't want to make a trade. Well, my opponent can attack in if they trade. Oh, I still have 1, 2, 3. I think my opponent will make a trade with the... I don't think they will. I don't think they'll make a trade with the 1/1. Could be mistaken, though. They should. They should trade. But my opponent's going to be very greedy and want the Lovestruck Beast to actually block. That was a bad attack by me. That was a terrible attack. Bad Kevin, bad Kevin. Yeah, 1 damage isn't worth the... Still a bad attack. Even though my opponent didn't do it, still a bad attack. Can they lethal me? 2, 9, 10. Ooh, my opponent might be able to lethal me. Not now, though. They don't have another Blizzard Brawl. Oh, my goodness. Okay, opponent had God Draw. 9, 10, 11. That's actually... Okay. Womp womp. So they had... Even that Great Henge is actually pretty terrible. So shouldn't have attacked it with those last ones. Yeah. Probably shouldn't have attacked it with anything. Ran him through, though. Would have had to block a bunch. That was pretty poor play on my part. A lot of bad attacks. But... Had a lot of that removal. They didn't have a Lovestruck Beast. I mean, that's... Mono Green just seems awful to me. The scenarios that I think are going to happen is you're going to have those draws where you have, like, nothing to use those Blizzard Brawls on in those. Like, too much of one. And then you're just going to get overrun with stuff. Or just not have anything relevant versus, like, Yorion. No, I'm, like, insulting every deck that we're losing to today. That deck's bad. That deck's bad. All right, let's actually switch it off to now the... we still didn't see Winota. Winota, that's my bad, too, because Winota would have just... Let's play until we get a Winota trigger. So, this Winota would have just triggered so many times there that next turn. We might have had a chump block with a creature there to survive. But the following turn, we would have had so many triggers off of Winota. Let's find a natural Winota. Not have to dig for it. It's loving to give us these Kargan War Leaders. This is actually okay. We have Winota War Leader. So we are very draw dependent here. We're playing against Mono White, which is one of my favorite matchups. Because typically we can start to outproduce Mono White. Unfortunately, this is the issue. I think we've lost this because of Kargan War Leaders. I almost want to play the 1 red card where you can shuffle cards back in your library. Hushbringer does nothing against our deck either, so this is pretty good. So our opponent is off to... kind of a slow start, but we are very slow, so we'll just pass it up. And then if our opponent gets a Skyclave Maul, then we're in a pretty terrible shape. I'll go on the Hushbringer. I'm going to take 2 here. All right, so we're still okay. We're still okay. Not the worst. Our opponent does gain some life. We do have a Masked Vandal, which is pretty crappy because it's also a Changeling. So we can just go Realm Walker here, name Warrior, and hopefully we can catch up. We have a Rada, which is a crazy combo. It's a pretty good combo. Hushbringer, our opponent missed a land drop, which is good news for us. The bad news is they have plenty of life gain going on. Giant Killers is nice just to cast. I think my opponent will still go on the Hushbringer. We have Errata coming up. We're taking 3. So you have to be cognizant of, like, this giving protection from green. We do have a land on top. That's perfect, actually. So now we're doing good. We'll have a Masked Vandal. I'll just actually cast it, I think. Because the Enter the Battlefield effect is just pointless here. We'll put it on green. Unfortunately, we draw a land next turn. And we've used a land drop. We'll do the Realm Walker. And we have Winota next turn, but it's not good triggers off Winota. I'm not sure that's going to be the right play. Giant Killer can actually tap something down, which is pretty decent. They're going to go on the Alseid, which is weird. Down to a 12. We have triggers off Despair Sentinel and Rada. That doesn't seem good enough. I think just like putting out War Leaders is better. Put us up to a 28. Yeah, this is pretty bad. We do get a land off the top, which is fine. I think another white is fine. That's the... Unfortunately, we are flooding. So I think double War Leader is fine. Down to a 12. Just off 2 mana with a stupid Hushbringer and a Luminarch. So opponent's going to tap down probably a Rada. That's fine. We'll attack him with just the Realm Walker. Leave the Masked Vandal back to block. At least puts a dent in our opponent. Just so silly we're losing a mono white with missing land drops and 2 mana. That's what's so ridiculous about how good these cards are independently of everything else. Opponent is being nice, though. They're putting on this Alseid rather than putting it on the other cards. You have to attack with an Alseid. Wow, we are flooding. So red's still good because it can do something with Haktos. I think we just go crazy here with casting things off the top of our library and then do a Winota. I think that's better of a play. Yeah, that's definitely better. So we can tap this Elvish Warmaster. And then this one can do Elf. But, yeah, it actually... Why does it say... Oh, it doesn't actually trigger the Warmaster. That kind of sucks. So here, we can attack him with Rada. It does have First Strike. I don't think I want to attack in with this because block. I think that's actually okay to attack in with. Don't want to attack in with the other ones, though. What's my opponent have for 2 mana? They just forget to Giant Killer. First Strike here. Okay, so we're actually in decent shape. Don't like this land off the top. Winota comes out next turn with a War Leader trigger, though. So the Helot Suncrown is fine. It does give a counter to the Hushbringer. We're going to go up to 21. Put it on the Alseid, which is just the weirdest place to put it. Put it on the Alseid again. I think I can squeeze through enough damage, though. So this can go on white again. We don't need any of these. So what we're going to do is Winota. Unfortunately, I don't know if we can hit enough stuff. So we do have to Alpha Strike here. And see if we can get through with enough damage. So we go ahead to go to attacks. Attack with everything. Get 4 triggers. And again, not sure if I'm going to get through enough. So Dwarf I can cast off the top. Haktos is a good one to hit. Ooh, Kargan Warrior is better than Haktos, though. So Winota into play tapped and attacking. And hopefully we can hit a Kenrith. That one's actually pretty good, too. So I think we actually might have enough damage going through. Unfortunately, we don't have another mana to keep up with the Sentinel for Kenny. That's always rough. Opponent's effectively 26 and has 5 blockers. So yeah, I actually don't think I have... I might not have enough lethal here. As this is just... pretty bad. Which is funny how well Mono White was able to do that off of... We didn't even miss a trigger either. I guess Winota was kind of a sort of a missed trigger, but it gave an 8/8 out. We have a blocker. Six, 6, 1, 5, 6, 6, 5, 11, 17, 23, 24, 30. I think this is enough. If I did the math correctly or incorrectly. So they're at 26. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think we have enough. Yep, that's enough. So there we go. We get to see a Winota trigger on the Mono White, which is the best feeling ever, because, man, I hate Mono White. Talking about picking winners and losers for, man, just Wizards' obsession with curve, with just putting like, oh, this card's going to be our 2-drop slot. This one's going to be our 3-drop slot. Let's make it better than every card that exists in Standard at the moment. All right, so let's switch over to Champions Auras now and play a few games here with the Champions Aura. So this one, the new additions to this are going to be, we have a Birgi. I think Birgi's worthwhile to try as a 2-of in this deck. I really like Siona, but Siona's in multiples are kind of feel weird. Like I know it's digging. It's digging even further for all the glitters, which is super important in this deck. Storm Herald's another card that I keep bouncing back and forth wanting 3 of in the deck. But Birgi is kind of cool because it allows another card to another like combo with the Runeforge Champion. So if you have Birgi and Runeforge Champion, they net you up a mana, or you cast them for free, because you can cast them for 1 colorless and you create a red. So you can just keep going through your cycle too. What gets more interesting is you have Transcendent Envoy. So if you have Birgi, Transcendent Envoy, and Runeforge Champion, it actually nets you up a mana. And then if you're net up a mana, if you draw that second Birgi, you can put it on the second, on the Harnfell Horn of Bounty, and then you basically just go through your deck, because then you can discard all your excess lands. And obviously this is probably with a Setessan Champion as well. So you have a Setessan Champion out, you can discard them all, and then you can exile the top cards of your library, and you can play those cards. Another cool little thing you can do with the horn is like you can discard all the glitters, for example, to try to dig for a Storm Herald. And then if you get the Storm Herald, then you can just cast a Storm Herald and then get back to all the glitters. So you can discard, you can basically pitch your entire hand, even if you don't have the combo. So you have a Harnfell Horn of Bounty and you have a Storm Herald in your hand. You can just pitch all of the cards in your hand to the graveyard to then Storm Herald come back, and then that can be a lethal as well. So I haven't really played this in best of 3s because it just feels like our deck gets worse. I actually want to try this Garruk Harbinger, but I did cut the Goose. This was super good with the Goose because you go first turn Goose, second turn Garruk's Harbinger, and then it's got Pro Black. Pro Black is so good versus versus Yorion. So Yorion basically cannot kill your Garruk's Harbinger. Everything in Yorion is black that kills it, except, I mean, they do have Extinction Event and stuff, but all their spot removal doesn't hit Garruk Harbinger. So then you can actually load up all your auras onto the Harbinger, and then that's can basically be your hexproof card to then your opponent really can't interact with. And it's not bad too to deal combat damage and real creature card. It helps you find the combo. So still want to try it out. Destiny Spinner is super good versus Rogues, for example. Radiant's super good versus Yorion. Warbriar's Blessing is good versus like Mono White. And Klothys is also pretty good versus like Rogues. So pretty decent little sideboard plan. I need to find some time to actually play best of 3. The whole theory of why I don't play best of 3 is arena players are the slowest thing known to man. They are so god-awful at sideboarding and taking forever, and I don't have the patience. I come from a background of like Dota, fast-paced games. That's why I'm so terrible at like games like chess, because I don't want to sit there and think through the scenarios. And so waiting for people to sideboard, oh my gosh, it's probably as bad as waiting for me to rant on this video. So I can't take it when they use their entire 2 minutes of sideboarding. Sideboarding 2 cards and go to the game, people. I have Mythic to grind to. You're taking my time away. And so that's why I play best of 1s. There you go. There's my rant. All right, so let's go on to doing some champion auras. Again, why we call it champion auras is we're running 2 champions. So there we go. Let's cue it up. Go against some rogues and see some good Storm Herald action. That's always fun. Not rogues. This is a pretty terrible hand, but we'll keep it. We have double Rune of Speeds, all the glitters, Alseid. Like, this could be like a hand we can go Pathway, Alseid, and then start hooking up some runes. Like, I think it's still better to go this than this. Really? Gonna do this to me, a Tibalt Trickery deck? Get it. Get a life, people. Now this is definitely better. So we're probably going to lose the Tibalt Trickery because we're just not quick enough to really punish them. And they mold like crazy. I don't know, maybe this actually hand can get there, but this is just so obnoxious. We're in Diamond, people. We're in Diamond. Stop running this crap. Just miss and scoop. There you go. Hey, cool. What a great game, you punk. Ay, ay, ay. I guess thanks for the free win. You almost beat us with Coma. That was so much fun playing that. Oh, wow. I bet you feel good. There's my salt for the day. Wizards, come on. Ban the card. It's not working as intended. Whatever. We'll get off that little high horse. It's just obnoxious. It's obnoxious going against it. It's a 40% win percentage deck. It's god-awful. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time. Whatever. Okay, let's go on. It was fun for a week. It was fun for the meme. It was fun for, like, look what we found. Coin flip. Ay, ay, ay. I better slow things down before I have an aneurysm. Okay, so here we go. This is a great hand. This is a very good hand. We wish we were going against, like, mono red. It's a super good hand versus mono red. So we'll go a white here. We'll go Alseid of Life's Bounty. Is that how you say Alseid? Alseid? Al? We'll call him Al. Al is pretty swole. Al is going to get incredibly swole here if we put all glitters on Al. And that might be the play. So what are we going against with this Triome? I think actually getting a Transcendent is better out here. It also is just a magnet to removal. Like, they'll go on the Transcendent here. Fabled Passage. Give me some more information. What are we playing against? What are we playing against? Okay, so I think I want to go all out on the... No, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's YOLO this. And see how well. This also sets us up for like a good Storm Herald draw. Yeah, you can't Fabled Passage anything. Oh, do you know what we're probably playing against? Just a good old Kroxa deck. What's the white in here for? Maybe this is just for a cycling land? Possible. And this guy will get magnet removed too, and we'll still have a Transcendent, which is decent. So pretty decent. Okay, we like that Bone Crusher Giant going to the bin. I think it's just Kroxa with white, maybe like a Doomscar. I'm trying to think, like, they're super good already versus mono white and mono red though. So what does white bring to the table that like gives them potential versus Yorion? Or again, I think I'm just gonna go back to I bet this is just a cycling land. That's all they want it for. So this is just a red and a black land with the ability to cycle. Valky does find a Transcendent, but I mean, it's not needed. I think we just win here. Yeah, we just do win here. Scoop it up! You're too slow. We indeed do. We can actually catch this guy and even do some more damage. Good hit. Because this goes and gets us a Rune of Might. So we can go Rune of Speed. I don't know why I'm going through these motions. My opponent's dead. Just want to show the deck. Aw, dude, don't make me time out. Dude. Oh. New Colossum. Don't be a possum. Good game. All right, there we go. That was a pretty nuts draw. That was an insanely nutty draw. That's why I like this deck. Yeah, that's how it works. I don't know if we've seen this one pretty much. I think we'll play this one more time. We got our little daily there. And I'll show you the binding deck, which I really like. It's still bugged, though. This is what's ticking me off about the binding deck is this In a Bind. Is this is still bugged. They know about it, and they still haven't fixed it. So basically the bug is that Vorinclex does not work with Aerial Ultimatum. Aerial Ultimatum and Vorinclex return at the same time onto the battlefield, and it does not double up all the tokens. So this deck does struggle versus like the Orion decks. It does do pretty good versus like the mono reds and the mono whites. Again, this is what I like with this strategy. A lot of people might disagree with me of how I build these type of decks. I don't like to run any removal in them because I think that running removal against mono white and mono red is a losing proposition. I think that you're just going to get behind. You want to clog the board and go over the top. That's how you beat the decks. Also, if you run removal, you're just guaranteeing you lose to Yorion. So even if you have like a exceptional matchup versus mono, like say we bring in like a lot more removal, possibly we could bring this matchup rating a little bit higher versus mono red and mono white, but then you just get crushed by then having all those dead cards versus Yorion. So that is kind of my philosophy with how I've been building decks lately, is you cannot, just the value of haste and the value of like having, you know, 8 cards in mono white that give you their card protection or indestructible, or being able to switch over like the Maul onto any one drop to then have another threat that you have to deal with. And the fact that mono white also has just an indestructible 3/1 by discarding a card, and then couple that with the fact that the mono red, everything has haste, and you know you have to always leave up a solution for Embercleave, so you're getting hit little doses of damage every turn. Just makes a terrible situation for playing that like heavy removal. So that is my philosophy. Go over the top of them. We do have some removal in the form of Binding the Old Gods and the Liliana, but all in all, we want to basically ramp and clog the board and kind of go over the top of what our opponent's doing. So yeah, let's go ahead and try this one time. And I think I don't know if I'll try this like kicker combo, but these are kind of my greatest hits right now. This is kind of the decks that I like the most. So the Champions, Auras, In a Bind, and kind of the Winota Elves. So let's go ahead and play good old In a Bind for a few games. This one does tend to last longer. One of the other reasons why I like Champions, Auras, and Winota is they're very quick decks. You are basically taking over the game very, very quickly. And they both have some good top decks, resilience to board wipes. Definitely a lot of synergies. I'm a synergy player. I would call myself kind of a wombo combo player to a point. I'm definitely more of a synergy player than anything. This is an awful hand. We'll go ahead and mulligan it. This is pretty awful as well, but not as awful. So we'll keep 6, put Garruk to the bottom, go with the Fabled Passage, grab a snow land. The Snow Swamp would be the land that we want here. Do not grab the Snow Forest or the Snow Plains, even though they kind of look the same. Then we'll go the Sculptor, probably. Now, okay, since we're going against mono red, I think we need to get out a Triton. Helps block the other stuff. Well, we could go Sculptor and then top deck, but I think it's just, no matter what we're doing, we're getting, we're probably dead to removal. Dang it, we did want that white. That sucks. Best case scenario is we get a land here. Like that's a terrible removal. I can't block the Fervent Champion anyway. So I'm glad their opponent wasted on that. So now we can. I'm gonna run out the Sculptor. Hopefully we can get a land next turn. We can go Sad Robot. If we can get Sad Robot out, I think we're in okay shape. Unfortunately, like this deck has a ton of lands in it, and we're kind of plagued by the 2-land nonsense here. So no blocks here. Hopefully land. Unfortunately, it is not a land. I think we do need to get out of Triton just to block the Annex, because the Timorous can be very weird. Timorous not going to block anything. Yeah, let's go the Triton, or the Mire Triton here. So miss the land drops, and of course, that's how it works. That is how it works. So we milled 3 lands total out of it. Another Triton, so we can actually just die to Embercleave here. I think blocks are in order. Okay. So definitely block here. That sucks. So much damage going through. And he gets two dudes back with the Annex. So he's got the dreaded 1-2-3 curve with no multiples of all these guys. Lovely. Miss the land drop again. Yeah, I think this is... I don't think we're coming back from this draw. Unfortunately, we can't even do a blood on the snow. Yeah, that just sucks. No lands to speak of. They all got milled. So, again, I don't really mind this matchup versus mono black or mono red. You can clog the board early. Like Sad Robot trades very well too because you ramp up. A lot of times it's then in the graveyard. It's a way to then draw a card, ramp a card, and eventually get like an Immersion Ultimatum and then go way over the top of our opponent. The binding of the Titans is pretty good too because you actually do gain 2 life off of it. It kind of feels pretty decent. So Lurrus being rogues could be a pretty decent matchup. Lurrus being cycling is going to be terrible. This is another just god-awful draw with the double Vorinclex, but I think we're going to keep it. Like, this is an okay 6. What do I expect with... We have double color Gilded Goose. Oh, it's so bad. I think we actually ship it. But, yeah, we do. This is better-ish, if that's a word. Ay. What is up? I am getting so tired of this crap in best of 1 with Arena, with the 2 landers. Like, it's wanting you to just try to Luxac draw a land. And, I mean, statistically speaking, you should in the time frame, but, man, it's just... Like, I need a green and a black here really bad. Well, that makes my mind up for me with the Gilded Goose. Unfortunately, I have to crack it right now. And we do not have another land here coming up. These aren't low land decks either. I think this one has quite a few lands in it. Rune Crab. Now it's going to mill me lands because that's how it works with the Rune Crab. So here comes 3 lands in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3 land. Up 2 lands in the graveyard, of course. Not the ones we needed though. We need a Black Source. Okay, Fabled Passage is fine. I think we just chuck it out and use it. I am getting salty. At least we don't have to draw any more Fabled Passages. Actually, Fabled Passages are fine to draw now. We get a Snow-Covered Swamp, and we get a thing called a Goose. And we need Polukranos in the graveyard versus Rogue. So hopefully next turn we can actually get this binding out. We can kill the Ruin Crab. If we can somehow untap and get this Blood of the Snow, I think we're going to be fine. But, man, this is quite a few resources as far as lands are concerned in the bin. So we do have Thief's Guild and Enforcer, which is going to mill 2 more lands. No lands! Yay! Awesome. And we do have... If no land here, we can just Blood on the Snow Ruin Crab. Okay, so now I have to worry about the... Some more lands. We do have to worry about things getting countered, so... Well, there's our last Fabled Passage. Let's just go ahead and crack it and get it over with. Whoops. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. I'm getting frustrated here with Frustration Clicks. We'll go get the... We have a white. It does require more green than anything, but I think we need black for the double for Blood on the Snow. So we'll go here, and let's go Mire Triton. If your opponent wants to counter it, things with rogue players, they counter whatever when they have the ability to counter it. I mean, this is helping my opponent. It's milling me, so... Yeah, they should just destroy it after instead. Okay, that's fine. We get rid of another Mire Triton. We haven't got rid of Immersion Ultimatum. And they're going to go Soaring Thought Thief and mill some more. So we're already down half our library. We did want those 2 in the bin. We draw another land. We are in the... we're in the running for a Blood on the Snow, which is actually going to be pretty good. But, ooh, Of One Mind is going to come out. Fabled Passage can come out. Still no Immersion Ultimatum that's been milled. So we have a lot of Immersion Ultimatums left in the deck. And we had the Wombo combo if Magic the Gathering would be programmed correctly. We would have the Wombo combo with Ugin immediately being able to ultimate. But I think we are getting milled. This is a lot of... There's 1 Immersion Ultimatum. Opponent is smartly keeping up 2 mana, so whatever we put out is probably going to get countered. Definitely want to make the trade with the Triton on the Thief's Guild. Oh, double. That's bad. Okay, so wonder if my opponent wants to actually like use the spell to get 2 of them back. Hey, I thought I got rid of all the Fabled Passages. No. I guess this is the last one. Let's try and go grab 1 more land before we get milled of all the options. Maybe we already are milled of all the options. Should have counted before I did that. Oh, no, we saw plenty. So probably just want to snow-covered plains here. And let's just do a binding. Yes, let's do a binding. Most likely we'll get countered. Go on the Soaring Thought Thief. No counter, huh? Okay, I mean, that's fine. Another removal spell out of the way. Lurrus is going to probably be activated next turn. Blood on the Snow can actually get back a Vorn Collect. Not quite. Now we're still another land. We actually do go get a land, though. All of our forest targets going to be... We still have a lot of them, actually. So, Merfolk Windrobber. We mill a Liliana. So one more Emergent Ultimatum. I don't know if we actually have enough. Like, Plukernos is going to be the key card, but it's going to be very, very tough to get enough value off of Plukernos. We have Lurrus. We thought that was coming, so Plukernos can just come out here. No land, though? Maybe sacrifice the Merfolk Windrobber, try to find a land? I think that's what's in order. Nope, there's the land. 1, 2, 3. Another Blood on the Snow, another Kaya. Kaya would have been great. We are just too milled. Garruk Unleashed is pretty good. I think Plukernos is better. We can get a... I think we still need a black source. Black-green? Yep. And then throw this out, then throw this out. I don't know if Plukernos is going to get there. A counter spell... Best case scenario is opponent goes counter this, Lurrus, recast something, and we can Blood on the Snow. Perfect. Okay, this is actually gonna be good. Because we can actually get back a Plukernos, which we can actually get back a Vorinclex with Blood on the Snow. Wonder if Liliana is just better though. Okay, that was the worst case scenario. I was hoping my opponent just did Lurrus, but had 2 cards left in hand and just did Lurrus here. Rather than, yeah, they probably are going to keep up another counter spell, so we're not going to be able to get Blood on the Snow down. Womp womp. Can I do one more turn, or am I just milled? I think I'm just milled. So it was close, because now our opponent found another Drown in the Loch. Womp womp. So, I have a turn for Blood on the Snow. I do believe I do. Binding of the Titans is pretty bad. Garruk is even worse. So we're just going to go Plukernos. And we're going to get rid of stuff that we know we have multiples of. So there's a multiple Binding. There's a multiple... Blood in the Snow can't come back. Their Eerie Ultimatums can't come back. We don't even want to Triton at this point. So let's do that. Unfortunately, this is probably going to get countered. But that Into the Story was awful. I mean, your opponent's probably just going to remove it with a removal spell? Drown in the Loch? Not sure why they just didn't counter it to save us some time. Okay, so... Am I dead? Like, Lurrus is still pretty bad with... Like, even other, like, Ruin Crab is just backbreaking. One has a draw with a Merfolk... Oh my gosh! Into the Story and Into the Story. So now we need to, like, draw... Yeah, we really can't even draw a Emergent Ultimatum either to do much. Down to 10. Yeah, I don't think there's a way we're out of this. Fight, attack for 12. Or Garruk, give Trample? Down to 7. Okay. That didn't do it. We're obviously milled next turn. So that's, like, Garruk's the only way I could get through this. We could fight the Ruin Crab. Opponent then just blocks. Or kills it in response. I think Garruk's just better. No, I think we have to do this. Fight the Ruin Crab. We can go Egan. Does Egan do anything? I think we have to fight the Merfolk Windrobber. Get in for 11? I mean, my opponent's going to sack it in response. But how do they not have an answer like a Drown the Lock? Okay. And it's swinging for... There's no way, though. 34 cards and a Lurrus Hedron Crab. Yeah, I expected that. Expected that to happen. So, not quite sure my opponent just wanted a Merfolk Windrobber here. But I think we're just milled. Really wish there better be in this next set a way to shuffle the damn graveyard into the library. Just an elixir more immortality is all this format needs. This is just ridiculous how much rogues can mill. I'm okay with having mill in the format. They should give us answers, though. I don't think there's anything besides, like, what, the Midnight... Yep, that'll do it. Right there, that'll do. That's enough mill. Alrighty. So, this isn't doing good. Hopefully we can get a non-mulligan. This one's losing us Diamond Tier 3 rating with the binding. Haven't shown the combo either. We'll do one more within a bind. What's that centaur? The Loaming Shaman? That would be a pretty good addition in the next set, too. Just to shuffle graveyard back in the library. Elixir would be perfect, though, because it comes out one drop. Rogues can't really deal with it at that point, and then you just pop it. And see, this is just... I mean, we do at least have the Binding of the Titans, but I am getting so tired of the 2 mana. And yeah, I know that's the reason why best of 3, the argument for best of 3. But it just forces, like, these decks that can do stuff on turn 1 and turn 2. Like, it really makes mid-range unplayable. And we are drawing all of our combo pieces, unfortunately. So, getting to Ugin is going to be rough. It's going to be, what, Adventures? Alright, let's see what we can do, Mr. Binding. We did hit a land. Okay, good. That's all I wanted to hit, so that next turn we can... Or the turn after, we can actually find land drops. Unfortunately, it's Eerie Ultimatum, which is one of the more powerful cards. Like, Name Again versus this matchup is going to try to hit an Ugin. Blood in the Snow will also be good if we can get to it, but it's going to be very, very tough to do so. Opponent does cast a Bone Crusher Giant. Does have the Edgewall, too. Ugh. So, we can exile Toski, and I don't think I want to exile anything from my graveyard. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. To gain some life. Unfortunately, we miss another... land drop with this, and we do have one next turn, so let's put out a Sculptor. The problem is we need to find black. And maybe I should have cast a Binding, but no, it's definitely Sculptor. I think we're pretty much dead here. Opponents, yeah, Bone Crusher Giant, another one, because that's another thing I've noticed with this arena is they love Bone Crusher Giants. Play it in any deck. You'll draw it like crazy. It's the converted, like the cost, it reads it as a 5. And so if you have it in another deck, it's just like, oh, perfect card for efficiency with mana, and likes to chuck them in your opening hands. So, there's other Bone Crusher. Yeah, we're too slow to get to the Blood on the Snow, unfortunately. Missing the land drop was brutal. Unfortunately, too, now we don't have a... We'll get this one back. We don't have a... Black Source. I think we're just going to die, and we missed it. We missed the land drop there, so I guess we can get Solemn. But, yeah, no Liliana, no Vorinclex even, another Edgewald. Taking 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 11 here. Lovestruck. Just going to cast a Lovestruck. I don't think there's a way. I don't think there's a way we can get to enough mana. What can I draw off the top? Nothing. So Blood on the Snow is going to be too slow. Facing that land drop really hurt. Like that comes into play tapped. Exile that. Exile a Sculptor. Puts us to 11. Yep, that'll do it. So, you can see this one's pretty bad. This Binding is kind of more of a meme deck. We'll play Champions Ours one more time. Try to recoup some of that the losses it's given us. But again, I think one of the main reasons the bind is so unplayable is that the 2-land. You cannot feel comfortable keeping a 2-lander, and Arena is just going to shove those in your face. They're just going to just wiggle them right in front of your face and just say, take it, take it, take it. And they are terrible hands to try to keep because you are so at the mercy of drawing that 3rd land drop. And what I'm noticing too with Arena does in best of 1 is then they like shove those lands. Like it gives you like gas first. Like here, have the non-lands. Have the non-lands to play with. And then when you get in desperation mode, you dig for the lands, hit the lands, and now you've blown all of your resources, your removal and stuff, trying to stabilize to start hitting those land drops, and then it just starts flooding you. Like, okay, you've gone through 2/3 or 1/3 of your deck. Let's have this next 1/3 be all lands. So there's my saltiness with this ridiculous best of 1. And I think that one of the major reasons, too, that you'll see a discrepancy between Arena and real-world Magic, either MTGO or paper, is because of this. The shuffler is not random. It's not. They are completely lying about how this works with the way that they want different converted mana costs. And they just really want to give people curves because they want people playing Magic as much as possible, not mulliganing, not having these kind of wonky hands. And what this ends up leading to is wonky hands. So they're causing their own issue, or what they're making you do is play curve decks, or making you play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the stop type decks, or the big draw decks. So 2 things have always worked on Arena that typically don't work as well in paper. That's always the hyper curve decks that they have the 1, the 2, the 3, the mono whites, the mono reds, so usually aggro based decks. And then you have the big draw decks. Those ones also tend to work very well on Arena because they're able at sifting through the cards and finding what you need. Unfortunately, what hasn't worked since the beginning of Arena was any sort of mid-range deck, or any sort of like, I wouldn't even say big mana tempo, but just like, yeah, I would say big mana tempo. Just a tempo deck that wants to consistently hit land drops and, tempo out your opponents. So those have never really worked that well on Arena, comparatively speaking to the rest of them. But if we call this stuff out, people show statistics, people show what a random shuffler versus a regular shuffler should do, or what Arena shuffler does, then we get called conspiracy theorists. So anyway, we'll play the Champions Aura here one last time. So this is a good deck, though, that does utilize that 2-mana hand quite well. For the best of 1s. It can get frustrating, though, to keep a 2-lander and not draw the 3-lander, especially when you have so many runes and ways to dig through your deck. So, let's see what we have here. A 4-lander. We'll keep this sucker. This one's good. We have a Setessan Champion. We have a Fabled Passage. In fact, Fabled Passage is probably good to crack and thin out our deck. Well, not really. I guess we could find... No, we don't. We have all our mana sources, so... Mike S., you going to do it to me? You going to make me rage even more with the Tybalt's Trickery? Let's just go ahead and crack this. I don't want more lands. Typically what you want with this is, of course, a white source. White source is the most versatile in this deck. We have the Transcendent Envoy into the Runeforge Champion, into the Setessan Champion. That's typically the one I like to go, so... Not sure what we're going against here with the pathways. Okay, yeah, we're going against this. They just can't give it up. I guess this is back. I guess they've all made it to Diamond now with, memeing. So, Dream Trawler, huh? The thing is, I can beat this. It's not good, but I can beat this. Opponent's going to get a lot of card draw, but it is beatable. So, we can safely just put out this green. We can go Transcendent Envoy. Good thing is my opponent's probably not going to be casting removal. They've wasted a lot of their cards. We're going to get back with Dream Trawler. We're going to get back a significant amount of life, too. But I actually think Setessan Champion is the card to put out here next turn. Because we can race this. They do have a lot of tap lands. They're drawing 2 cards per turn, so that gives up their mulligan. We have another Setessan Champion coming down. Yeah, they don't run like removal. Everything else is just stuff. So we'll go ahead and attacking with the Transcendent Envoy. And next turn we can actually go crazy. So I'm going to get a lifelink to try to keep up with this. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get... Well, it doesn't really matter what we get. We will get lifelink. So opponent does hit another land. Ugh. So I wonder why they played it first, though, because this gives them less options. Down to a 10. They have 4 mana. There's still not a lot they can run. Maybe like a... Okay, that's a good one, too. That's a super good Runeforge Champ. Yep. Oh, stop doing that, empty arena. Give me the red. I don't need the white there. Shouldn't have auto-tapped. Search my library, except saying I have the Rune of Speed. Search my library for, we want a Rune of Sustenance. And now we can go ham here. But unfortunately, I played it, so I can't play this Alseid. I was gonna, it said it was tapping that way, and then decided to change on me. And we can do another Rune of Sustenance. On the Envoy. We're gaining some life. We got a Race and Ugin now. And a Rune of Might on the champion. And for the love of all that's holy, give me a ethereal armor, or whatever they call it. Nope, it's going to give me lands. So we got the Rune of Speed. As the last one, Storm Herald is pretty trash. Okay, we can dig for it, is the good news. And they gave us another turn, basically. Get rid of these temples. We actually have quite a few lands that are in the bin now. Storm Herald is terrible. They killed this Setessan Champion, though. We're still good. I think it's just the Siona captain here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They didn't have anything last turn to do. They could go like another Tibble's Trickery, I guess, with stuff. I don't think they can cast anything before. Okay, a Rune of Might is perfect. So a couple of options. We can go like another Setessan Champion. And we're going to put this on white and possibly... Okay, do you want to tap my red? There we go. Tap the red. We are tapped here. Setessan Champion. This way we can get some more value off the Alseid. A Rune of Might. Birgi's going to be good next turn. Rune of Speed. Can we find it? 34 cards. Opponent's going to scoop it up. So beat the Tibalt Trickery deck again. With even them hitting a Dream Trawler, which is one of the better draws they can draw. A lot of decks can't recover from a Dream Trawler. So there you have it. All right, I think we've actually played for over an hour today with these decks. Yeah, I guess we could, I'll have to show these kicker decks. This is still one that I want to actually make it work with this, the kicker copy. Pretty fun deck here with the Basalt Ravager, but it is just so hostile right now in the meta for these particular decks. But have some other fun things I'm working on. Haven't given up on brewing here. A lot of fun decks going on. Oh, this is boring. This is a boring deck. Jun Blood on the Snow builds decks like these. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, thanks for watching.